Une heure, quoi. Euh, Attendez, je demande du coup. Grosso modo, on avait une sorte de coaching avec HERA sur les maps de la T90 League qui sont sorties hier. Mais le truc, c'est que je pense que ni HERA ni moi n'a encore eu le temps de vraiment les regarder, les maps. Je sais pas si ça va être hyper utile. Oui, monsieur Gruntor, pourquoi vous me dites Margot comme ça? As-tu vu mon message? Ton message de... Tu m'as envoyé un message sur mon stream, un truc que j'ai pas vu, une alerte et tout? Sur Discord? Attends, je regarde. Dis-moi, tu m'as envoyé le message? Bah moi, sur Discord, j'ai ton message... Ah, PayPal. Ah, ok. Ah, sur mon chat. Ah, my bad, j'avais pas vu Gruntor. Parce que j'ai pas encore d'alerte. BFX est en train de m'en faire. Mais attends, du coup. Alors, attends. C'est où faut que j'ouvre Streamlabs. J'ouvre ça et comme ça, je vois ce que tu m'as dit, mon petit gros rue. Alors, il y a une petite mise à jour. Du coup, toi, et n'hésitez pas à me répondre en MP, Spirit et tout, les gars. Que je sache. Oh, bah, c'est bon, les gars. Bah, comme ça, on va se faire un petit coaching des rangs en live sur les maps de la T90 League. Donc, c'est parfait. Ça me permet de rester en live et pas couper. Donc, tu as loupé. Oui, oui, non, mais j'ai sûrement loupé Grand Thor. Mais j'ai rien sur Streamlabs non plus, what the fuck. Attends. Ah, je commentais l'IT. Non, mais attends, mais j'ai aucune alerte. Genre, tu m'as envoyé un truc sur PayPal et normalement, il y a des alertes quand il y a une donation, non? Ou alors, faut peut-être configurer ça. J'ai pas du tout configuré. Incroyable. Ah, le petit Gruntor. Pour la saison 6 du CF. Eh ben, merci beaucoup, mon petit Gruntor. Merci beaucoup. Oui, parce que pour ceux qui ne le savent pas, j'avais gagné la dernière saison du championnat francophone. Et donc voilà. Bon, merci Gogru. Merci Gruntor. Et donc, du coup. Bon, bah, alors, du coup, je vais. Du coup, on va avoir. Je vous explique ce qui va se passer, messieurs, dames. On va avoir une sorte de review de la T90 League des saisons 3. Je vais le faire en live du coup parce que bah autant ne pas couper vu que ça fait qu'une heure. Et donc comme ça après on pourra aller jouer contre Running et éventuellement faire un autre 1v1 si jamais comment dire si jamais on a un peu de temps de faire un petit 1v1 avant le tournoi. Mais sinon le tournoi c'est un truc 1v1. Et puis après donc on ira coacher Scan. Donc là du coup je vais aller rejoindre les gens sur Discord. Est-ce qu'il est là déjà, Ira ou pas? Ah, il est déjà là. Et je change ma scène du coup.
Minutes, so I was very like a bit scared, but it's fine actually.
No problem. It's like AM preparing for a show match. Everything last minute. I understand.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. What's up? So Margot, you're streaming, right?
Yes. I mean I was streaming
Alright.
1v1 in just for 1 hour so I asked if it was okay to keep streaming. Because it's a bit weird to cut the live after 1 hour.
That's cool. The only thing is like the information I'll give, everyone will be able to access it if they find it, but it should be fine, I imagine.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know if you guys know, but JBR just posted the details for the map pack.
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, hello everyone, and yeah, I mean, since it's a group session, I would like to have everyone kind of like tell me what you guys want to get out of it, and then I'll try to help everyone based on their style and how they want to prepare for the tournament.
I would like to be able to win the Platinum League, if possible, while slapping you in the final, Era.
Okay, very ambitious from Margu. Makes sense.
And
Yeah.
Basically, Lighty just passed his first round in the Silver League, and I guess there's 2 or 3 players that will join the God League. And Mihai, who will join soon, he's going to be in the God League as well. But
Okay, awesome. So let me get. I mean, I'm gonna get the maps for the Gold and Platinum League. I'll paste them here. Can we paste it? Can I talk somewhere? Is there a place to paste something in the Discord?
Spirit, t'as
Ah, yeah?
un channel pour qu'il puisse écrire?
Oh yeah, sure. Okay. Okay, let me add you
Just
somewhere.
any new channel is fine.
Yes. Here we go. I'm just going to add you there. Wait. Can I give access here? Just 1 second. I just.
No problem.
Uh,
Yeah, so we have Lady playing in Silver League. So Lady, can you get me the maps and settings you're playing in Silver League? So that, I mean, you won round 1, that's really good. But I'll have to see who else you're playing against and we can prepare you for that. And then 2020, are you playing in any of the leagues or no?
I'm
Oh.
not anymore in the Silver League.
Okay, you got out, damn
But
it.
I'm here for listening and your experience.
Okay. Oh, here, we already have the maps actually. You guys already posted. That's perfect. Now I can see them. That's completely fine. So that's the one for gold and platinum. If you can just post the maps for silver in the same spot so I can see them, and then that's good. Then we can go through them.
I think it's the same that was in the last season, but it would be a cool reminder to have them, I guess.
Yeah.
That.
I kind of forgot what they are, but yeah.
It was
Either way,
a
it should
very
be
bad
good.
map pool if I remember well.
Yeah, there was like 3 arenas for sure in there, which is a bit annoying.
Yeah, and
but,
when it comes to Arabia, it was like Ghost Lake, Scandi. I was like,
I
oh,
know,
okay,
I know.
nice.
The Arabia was also super wallable.
Yeah.
It was a kind of an arena tournament. Okay, well, as far as the platinum maps, Margot, do you know all of them or not really?
I know most of them, I would say, but there is some that we play in the RMS Cup, Random Map Cup. I don't remember the name exactly. And I
Yeah.
think like Fractal, I don't know how to pronounce it, is pretty interesting strategically. And I would say also maybe Spiral should be interesting too. And I think the other map are pretty standard. And yeah, and Eldorado, I think you have a lot of experience on Eldorado because it was a Woobly map. I remember Cito
Yeah.
talking a lot about it, and I never play it, so could be cool to
Okay.
watch. I think the best one for me would be probably having your thought on Spiral, Fractal, Eldorado, and maybe The Wall, but The Wall is very specific, so I don't think there is a
Okay.
way to approach this one.
Okay, so let me first of all download the map packs. Let me see if I can find them. Tonight,
There is the map pack in the discussion. Right.
I see, yeah. Yeah, okay, I just got it. That's cool. So this is how I like to go about it. When I prepare for a tournament, the most important thing is to first of all look at all the maps, come up with what is the main strategy, like the first idea that comes to mind, the main approach to it, and then you play a bunch of practice games and then test the ideas that you come up with. If you notice in practice that it's not working out, you make adjustments. So what we can do today is we can go through the maps one by one for the Platinum League, and then we can figure out the best civs on it. We can come up with some strategies, and then you guys on your own time will practice that between each other, and that is the absolute best way to prepare for a tournament. This is what I did for like every tournament that I've ever done well in. It's really important to have like a good first look at all the maps and come up with good strategies right away. That way, in practice, you don't waste time practicing stuff that doesn't add anything, like doesn't add any value. Real quick, Lady for the Silver League. Are you playing on the current patch where with Romans
Hello.
or with the Koreans or no?
Yes, current patch, but I don't play Korean.
Okay. Are Romans allowed or not for the Silver League?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And can I have a link? Okay, let me find. I'll find the Silver League brackets. Let me find that just so I can see who you're playing against.
Wait a minute.
Hello?
Hello, is that me?
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
No, we're just getting started here.
Okay.
Just a discussion between platinum players.
Okay, I'm leaving. Bye-bye.
I'm
Bye-bye.
joking.
See you next season.
How are you, Mihai?
I'm doing fine.
Okay, nice.
Wanna learn something about the next season.
Are the brackets out for T90 season 3? Like, can I see them somewhere?
I'm not sure it's out already. I can check
Here I see
that.
it. Oh,
You mean
season 2.
for Silver? Yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Lady sent it to me. So,
Yes.
wait, Lady, where are you on the list? What's your name?
Fox Lady with Koala.
I think Lighty is playing versus Cyclops and then Bad Koala potentially.
Which group is it? Is group
8.
Oh, I see you. So you beat Spreezy, and now you're gonna go up against Cyclops, Turkish player, and then you play against Bad Koala. Okay, so you're. I mean, honestly, there's not that many big names there. What's your elo, Lady? How strong are you?
2K2.
Okay, and what maps are you specialized in? Do you play open maps or closed maps or what?
Arabia.
Okay, just Arabia. Okay.
Simple.
So the problem for you is that we don't really have good maps in the pool. Like, I'm sure you don't like any of the maps besides Arabia, and that's probably the biggest problem. So what we'll do for you is we'll give you really easy to execute strategies on Arena, on Fortress, on all of these maps, so that you can at least have a good chance on them, and then we try to win Arabia. Because next map is best of 3, we have one home map for us, so I imagine Arabia. If there's any bans, we'll take something else that's similar, like maybe Kilimanjaro. And then we'll get better at some of the other maps that they might pick. And you just have one basic strategy for each map, and you just do that, because it's best of 3. If you win your home map and one map, you're good. That's the best way to approach that. And since I already know the maps, I can just give you like real quick what tips and what strategy to do on every single map, and that should be pretty easy, I'd imagine.
Oh, ok. J'ai pas tout compris là. Il me faut de l'aide.
Il va te donner des stratégies très faciles à exécuter sur les maps fermées vu que t'es pas très bon dessus. Et comme ça,
Ok, parfait.
t'auras des bonnes chances de victoire dessus, même contre des joueurs qui sont meilleurs que toi sur le papier, quoi.
Ok,
Exactly.
thank you.
Yeah. So that's actually like rather simple. It's gonna be 50-50 whether you beat the guys, but it's the best way to do it. And these strategies, I'll probably write them after the session. So I'll give you a little like a notepad with what to do on every map. So I can do it now, but it'll take a little bit of time. So I'll do that at the end or a little bit after, and I'll send it to you. So you have a good idea of what to do, and then you just practice that, and you're good. Okay?
Donc il t'a dit
Ok.
qu'il allait te donner des petites notes de ce qu'il t'aura dit en général après le truc, comme ça tu pourras le suivre. Et en plus de ce qu'il te dira, quoi, pendant la session.
Ok, merci.
Donc t'auras une petite note
Yeah.
écrite, quoi.
Yeah. And anyone else in the server league that from here or no?
I
No.
don't think so.
No.
Okay. Okay, so that's cool. So now we can move on to the gold and platinum maps, which are these ones we have to actually take a look at. So basically what I'll do is, we know some of them, but I'm going to take a look at some of the other maps. I want you guys to pull up a notepad or something to write down the maps and what to do on them as we discuss them. So let me go ahead and set up one of them here. So the first one we'll take a look at is Coast and Mountain. Now, what I'll say is, if you guys want to do something else, if you guys have any questions, let me know. This is kind of what I think is the best way to prepare as the first session for a tournament.
Yeah, it's fine for me.
All right, so I'll share my screen here. Okay, and we'll go all visible. Where can I see that? All visible. And that should be good. Okay, so this one we know, but you guys need to pull up a notepad and write the name of the map and write a few things that we see right away. So I don't know if you guys have ever played Coast to Mountain, but basically the main strategy people do is that they either run up to the top and make the TC, or they make it right away and then hunt. The best strategy is by far making it right away. Like if you just make it right away, you get all the hunt near you, you take all the boars, you go make a lumber camp here, and then you wall the sides. That's like the best way to approach it. And then after that, you have two choices. Either you fight for water or you fight for the land. So
I think like what I do usually is I run my wheels to the wood line on the top. I try to make my TC ASAP on the first wood I see, and I lure my first boar and the second boar like instantly without making a fish, just making a dock to rush like, and I do like 14-15 pump the dock approach. I don't know if it's good.
I actually don't really like that. The reason why I don't like that is that that's like a lot of people do that, but by far the better approach is to make the TC right away, because then even if you get the dock later, you will up faster because you have the hunt a lot closer, so you can easily get the boars in. and you will go up to the feudal age faster. So even if your opponent has an extra fish, if you're up 30 seconds faster, you're gonna win the Grush War, right? So even if you have 2 fish, he has 3. It doesn't matter. You go like 2 dock and you just go galley right away. People were playing this before, and they played with fire galley because people just thought fire galley on small lake is better.
Yeah.
But obviously now we know like galley is way better, right? So the best approach for sure, like I'm like 90% sure, is to just TC right away, go to the wood, no, lumber camp, then you go for Grush with 2 dock galleys, and then you wall this, and then wall to the TC. That way you don't die to any land attack, you win the water guaranteed, and then you can adapt from there.
Okay, okay. And you want to dock like a bit in the back of the water, right?
Yeah, so I would probably like TC first, then go to wood, then send 1 Vil to dock, and just dock one of these. He has no scout, so he cannot snipe it. And you just dock it, you make 1, 2 fish, maybe just 1, sometimes 2, depending on how much you can afford. And then you up feudal as fast as possible. So with this strategy, other people will go probably dock right away. Maybe some they'll run here, make the TC there. They're gonna have more fish, but if you kill their fish, you have a really strong strat, like a really strong advantage.
Okay.
Going scout on this map is really not very good, because what you should try to do is wall here, like any part of the wood line. This is what you need to scout with your camel. After you see all your hunt, don't scout your opponents, just scout here. See first how you want to wall, and then go scout your opponents.
And I have a question on Castle Age. Like for the feudal approach, do you think like the game gonna be decided like in feudal age, like who won the water? Is it that important to win the water, or is there a way where like someone win the water and the other guy just go all in and can win the game?
Yeah, so on this map, water is actually not that important, but the reason why we fight for it is that there's nothing to do early game that's as comparable as water.
Okay, okay.
Like if you win the water, you don't necessarily win the game, because then your opponent has like less fish. You can control the lake, but he might actually push you. But the reason why we fight for the water right away is that if you go scouts, you don't have an initial scout, so your rush is like super weak initially, and the guy has usually a very easy wall. So we play for water just because it's the only way to actually fight for any kind of advantage early game. Anything else doesn't work. However, in Castle Age, like when you get to Castle, the water doesn't matter. So our plan is to win the water with galleys, and then if your opponent goes fire ships in Castle to reclaim the water, just let him. Like patrol your galleys, try to snipe his docks, whatever. But if he fights for the water in Castle, it does not matter. Let him win it back. Don't invest more, because in Castle Age, the plan is now to fight for the gold and stone up top. Super important.
Okay.
And also you can raid on the sides as well. Like the map is super open, right? So the water is only good early because there's nothing else to fight for. And then in Castle Age, the water is completely useless. So Margoo, if you win water, but then you make some mistakes and you get pushed in Castle, you will lose.
Okay,
It's
okay.
not that big of an advantage.
And
But winning water will give you an advantage early.
Like I would say on this map, I want like passive for the water, but I think I also want like a camel save because we are pretty far from each other, and it has to be cavalry or maybe CA on this map, right?
100%, yeah.
yeah.
So like, I don't know the current civ meta on this map because the last time I played it was like a few patches ago. But for example, Hindustani was like super good. Berbers was super
Yeah,
popular.
Malians too, I think now with the gold bonus should be.
Yeah, Malians can be pretty solid.
Mongols
exactly,
actually
yeah.
with the
Oh yeah,
wars,
Mongols
etc.
have always been really good. Yeah.
So no archer sieves here, right?
Yeah, no archer says. So Mihai, you're gonna struggle here.
No archer sieve, no abuse
okay, shit.
market. Mihai in Silver League confirmed. Shit.
What am I going to do here? Ay.
Just ban the
so-
map. Just ban the map.
That's basically it. On this map, nothing crazy can really happen because they don't have a starting scout. So if they go for any kind of aggression, they're gonna need to make like 2 units to do anything. And instead, like normally they have the scout to already harass you. So land aggression feudal age doesn't really work at all. You could. People might try to tower rush, but if you do like I said, then you go grush and then you also wall. The tower rush will have very little impact. So imagine you wall here, you tower here or whatever, you already secure stone back here, some gold you can buy, like you're completely safe. And if they tower rush a wood, you just go back. And if you win the water and they tower rush, you're in a good position. So tower rush, I've got it done to me a few times. I never lost to it. It's very easy to defend.
Okay.
But
In
then
Castle Age, siege push, it's working.
siege
For
push,
example, not siege push.
honestly, in my opinion, no, because the distance is so far. So
Yeah.
siege push, in my opinion, just takes too long. And also, if you have a camel civ, camel knight monk, what push are you really dying to? You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
Also, if they're pushing from here where there's a lot of wood lines. You can easily wall. You have stone and gold in the back. It's going to be very hard for them to deny anything. So, yeah, just to recap, you should write this down. We TC right away, take as much hunt, go to the wood, then we grush. Right after we win the water, we already start walling the top, and then we play towards castlage. If you need to wall down here to your TC, like make a little corner, do that. And that's basically it. You'll win most games on this map.
Okay,
So in
okay.
Castle Age, it's mostly army and boom.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
because
a
of the
boomy map,
distance.
and you want to control the hills on the top, and
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, in castlage, CA can work. If not, knights and camels. You can play for the relics, by the way. There's a few relics. It's worth playing for it. And then in the late game, it's all about the hero.
I think
You
I'm
get
a bit.
castle on the top.
I think I'm a bit scared to play CA on this map because, like, I like to play CA when you are not too far of the opponent, because there I just have the feeling that you will like go forward with like 6 CA or some wave of CA, and each time the guy can wait you with husbandry and some camels, I think. So I think
Yes,
it's
so-
just maybe like one monastery, one stable, light cav, some knights maybe, and just boom into having a good team timing with a good castle and just play from there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's the approach I would do. But the way that you do CA on this map is you just play CA with the idea that you're scaling. You don't go 3 range, that you go all in. You go only 2 range to harass them a little, fight for relics. And then the CA scale really well. Because
Okay.
if you have 20, 30 CA, you go to Imp, and you just sit on these hills with halbs, then all of a sudden it's really hard to counter you, right? If the guy goes cavalry.
Yeah, true.
So you don't play CA where it's like 3 range all in. You play it more like just to control the map and to fight for the hills. It's more important.
And easy to play
Uh,
to do some economy at the bottom of the map? Or not at all?
So I prefer to have the top of the map for sure. Like you have the farmland, which will be here. The top of the map has all the resources you need. The bottom, think of it as a late game expansion or a plan B. If you're getting destroyed here, then run here, plan B.
Yeah, okay,
Or
okay.
in late game, control this. But don't go here on purpose right away. Like this is a lot more exposed than up
Yeah,
here.
cool.
All right. So that's a pretty much it.
Lithuanians
Anyone has
should be
discussions?
top safe here, right?
I don't think Lith is actually that good here. It's not bad, but it's not great.
I think if
If
you play
the-
Leeds, like you are playing for the very early game, but after that, if you don't have Camel, I don't know.
Yeah, Lith. Like I've played against Lith. I think Viper used Lith one time against me, and I was Berbers, and it was like as long as I make the right unit, I'm winning every single time. Like if he goes lightest, I play on heavy camel, and then if he plays, let's say halberd opening, I just go camel archer. And the thing is, because there's so much gold, you can play double gold comp on this map.
Okay, okay.
So yeah, Lith ends up not being that great, honestly. Kind of a bait pick. People will pick it; they think it's good, but I don't think it's gonna be good.
Oh, Eldorado, nice. I
Alright,
never
so
saw this map almost.
Yeah, this map is old school map. Some of you guys might have known it. There's 2 versions. This one is with the water on the edges, which is the more interesting one. So one thing you need to know actually, the middle is
Oh,
exposed, so you see the middle. You have full vision always. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know why this isn't working, but yeah, you have always full vision of the center. So yeah, that's the first thing to note. But behind at your base, you have 1 stone, 1 gold. Is there anything more? No, just these 2. The woodlands are very small, and there's water. Water goes all the way on the outside. There's a good amount of shorefish and deep fish. And then you start with 3 deep sea fish near your base. And it looks like we have regular turkeys, but only 1 boar. So that's what you need to know. So real quick, what do you guys think is like the best approach right away?
I think you have to go. I think it depends, but like if you are blue with this forward gold, like you have only 2 tiles, you kind of have to go forward, or at least make sure like the guy cannot take this gold. So I would say
Okay.
that I think you always want to fish even with this gold, like no question about it. But you just put maybe 4 on wood to make sure you can save this gold and put a tower instantly if needed. But
Okay.
after that, like let's say my gold start to run out, then I think it's probably 1 TC, and you want to maybe tower the middle, put a castle on it, or at least control it with knight monks. I think it's just like one civ map where you just go all in castle age to control the middle, and if you lose the middle, you lose the game basically.
Okay. Any other ideas? Right away.
I remember Chinese being really good here,
Yeah,
but I
'cause you
can't
start with
think.
the extra vills. Yeah.
I can't think of a good opening.
Yeah. So I have to think here a little myself because the meta beforehand was either Chinese and you take like the fish right away and that's like insane. You develop very fast and then you play towards a good economy. You can go on water a little. Or what was popular is Mezzo, and like Margus said, you do the all-in Eagles and Castle, go full brain dead. Now I don't know exactly what would be the meta now because of all the balance changes. This map is pretty old.
Okay.
But what I will say is you want to go for no extra TCs. Like literally never add a TC unless you have a really good reason for it. It's not like Arabia where you go up to Castle and you think of adding a TC right away. Think of a TC on this map as a map control. If you have in the middle control and you want a TC because that helps you, okay, that's fine. If you want the TC to secure wood, that's fine. But don't think of TC to add economy. Why? Because there's always something to fight for on this map. You can either fight on the water, or you can fight in the middle, or you can go ahead and raid the guy's base. So in every situation in Castlage, there's always going to be something to play for. So I highly recommend you almost never add a TC. And don't add it to boom, just add it for map control, but I recommend just don't add anything. Always one TC, tower or cellstone, every single time.
Do you think like a fast castle, like very cheesy approach could be good? I think if you manage to like make your castle in your base and have some unique unit, like even if you are all in, if the opponent has 0 gold to defend versus your unique unit, it should
I
be very hard
think
for him. I don't know if you can pull up to that, but
I think you'll get tower rushed every single time. Because there's water on the map, the cheesy builds don't really work because the guy will right away one galley to snipe your fish if he wants to. Then he'll have a big advantage. And he'll just see you fast castling and then tower your stuff, and you're not going to really be able to get away with it.
Okay. And you don't
So,
have
yeah,
that much
I don't-
resources at home, yeah.
Yeah, I recommend fast feudal here. And if you look at it as well, you can't really farm in the center, so that's another layer to it. So you take a lot of early food, but then you can't farm. Probably a lot of people will try to go men-at-arm forward on this map. I think if the Romans are a possibility, Romans would be insane here because you get to men-at-arm tower with like the really strong men-at-arms, and that's kind of insane. Otherwise, I'd probably open with range and be ready to make spears and towers. I think scout opening will probably be pretty bad on this map.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And do you think
And-
playing 2 dogs is fine, or we are
No,
way too far
never.
from the opponent?
Never. Just one dock and make like probably fire ships, or like one galley to snipe the fish, and that's it. Don't ever try to play for water. If they go 2 docks, you literally can just attack them on land and then tower rush them every single time. You'll win every single time, I'm sure of it. Because if they play for water, you can still snipe their fish. There's no way they can play for water and deny you from sniping the fish with like one galley here and there, or like one demo to sneak it at some point in the game and kill their fish. And there's not enough fish to like 3 dock fish boom or something like that. And there's no time for that anyway. You have to fight for the middle really, really early. So if they go 2 dock, hard pressure them on land. That's definitely the best approach. But definitely do 1 dock fish, and then maybe make like 1 fire galley with 1 range to open. That would be my favorite strat.
Maybe
And then over time, over time you can go up to like a 2nd range maybe, and then play from there.
Maybe Koreans could be good now with the discount on everything on the wood, and you can just make 2 tower maybe on the middle. And
I think that sounds pretty good actually.
Actually,
Yeah.
because-
Also on this map,
yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
because I think when you have the fish like that at the start, like every sieve with an economic bonus, like is a bit nerf in a way that every sieve has a lot of fish under the TC right away. So I think that Korean can just go easily on feudal age and make a lot of archer with wood, like cheap archers, cheap fires, like something like that.
Mhm.
And then just go up and make some towers a bit of. I think it's gonna be a good sieve. Like maybe not the best one you want, but let's say you are in a best of 5 or a play of 3, and the best sieve are either banned or picked by the opponent. Maybe it's a good like second-hand sieve.
Yeah, I think it's definitely solid. I think Dravidians also comes to mind for the same reason. You get the extra wood, you get the house for the dock, and then you also could play like skirms. Keep in mind, if both players go range, it becomes a skirm war, right? So if you go range, she goes range, you go a few archers first, and then you go into mainly like skirms. You can add a 2nd range or something like that. If both players go range, I don't know if you guys know this, but usually you don't really add a stable after doing that. If you go range into stable and the guy goes double range, the guy who adds stable will lose every single time. So
Even with the
yeah,
armor on scouts?
sorry?
Even with the
Even
armor
with
on
the armor.
scouts?
Yeah, even with the armor, because what happens is you go for a few archers and then a bunch of skirms, right? And then if the guy tries to go skirm into scout, you'll have more skirms than him because you're on double range, and then all you need is like 3-4 archers behind to hit the scouts. So he will need like literally 5-6 scouts with armor to even engage you. And by that point, you're gonna have like 6-7 archers plus like 10 skirms, so you will never lose the fights. Also, raiding on this map is usually not the best because you're either gonna be in the middle with a tower, or you're gonna have some farms probably around a mill, which is also gonna be probably close to a tower, or some walls, something like that. So scouts won't get that much value, and you're mainly looking to pressure the other guy's gold. So stable never really works on this map, but people don't know that, so they're not gonna. They might make a stable. If they make a stable, go for second range and continue to pressure them with skirms and archers, and get armor on them, of course.
Okay.
Because,
Yeah,
I
that's
like Davidians
definitely-
and Koreans here, but I think I like Spanish though. If you
I-
consider maybe long-term castle in the middle and conks.
I think Aztecs
Okay.
has to be maybe the best because I can see already the both open like some archers, then both go some skirms, and then suddenly you want to have some eagles right away on the map to get the middle instantly, while the other player has to wait for knight, for example, or for his upgrade. And you can like easily make a TC on the middle to get some goal and then just play brain dead. Like it should be a good option. Like yeah, but playing the eagles should still be a good option, I think.
I agree. I think also with any Mesosiv really, especially the Incas these days as well, you can play Skirm Eagle right away. So you save your gold only for the one-backed Eagle, and then you go only Skirms. Because if you think about it, if one guy goes Archers and you go Skirms with Eagles right away, you will completely destroy him. If you go Scouts, you can just go Archer plus Eagle, and that will completely destroy him as well. Because he won't have time to go Scout into Skirm.
Yeah, and you are pretty
And-
close to the opponent, so having
Yeah.
a double military building working from the beginning has to be good.
Last thing I'll say about this, if you have the map control, if you start winning fights, go to the center early. Don't be afraid of that. And then you can also make it like a tower right away. Because if you go to the center, you can also mine some stone as well. So
Yeah.
if you go to the center and make a tower, if you have the map control, that's cool. You get to take the stone, and then you can make another tower, and that's completely fine.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I would say Meso, and then civils like Koreans, Dravidians are the best. Spanish or something for Castle Age is not bad, but I think better players will kill you in Feudal Age if you try to greed for Castle on that map. If you ask me. So if you're picking a civ that's slow, you're basically hoping that you don't die. Alright, next one. I keep going to the wrong spot. I have to try to go a little faster on these. Fractal? Oh, Fractal is interesting.
Yes,
one's
I
kinda
think
crazy.
so. I love this map because I was Ville rushing on RMS Cup, but I guess Ville rushing is a bit too troll. Troll strat.
Well, one thing they changed for those who played it in RMS Cup, like you, Margu, is that there's more forests from what I see here. I think they added an extra layer. I'm not sure, but I think they added an extra layer.
I think they correct the bug because before you could like just cut 2 trees and like
Yeah.
make a dock in diagonal, something like that, between 2 trees. It was good.
Yeah.
And so people were doing that, and it was not very fair for the opponent. But
Yeah. So I see like a spot here where you can cut 3, but here you cut 4. There's some areas where maybe you can cut like 2 or 3. There's basically 2 approaches on this map. If the meta didn't change, you have to go cut out, but then you can either Vil fight or you can go for like Feudal Age and then play from there. I think this map gets really messy. So this map is probably the worst to like prepare for a strategy. This is a good map to pick if you're an underdog. So if you're an underdog, picking this map and preparing something wild is good. If you're the favorite, this map is the worst for you because anything can happen and you don't know what your opponent will bring.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
If you know your opponent is like really like simple player, doesn't like to get messy, then this map is also good. So I would recommend this map if you want to get messy. If you want something standard, do not pick this map. This map is very hard to predict what will happen.
Right now, build
Also-
rushing isn't that strong because Poles and Borbors got nerfed when
Got
it comes
nerfed,
to
yeah.
build rush.
But the thing is, the Vil Rush wasn't always about like those civs. If I remember correctly, the Vil Rush was also just to be able to like harass your wood if you didn't wall it. It was just to snipe your deer to lame you. So they might still like send the Vil forward to lame and stuff. It's not always about the pure Vil Rush.
And I think if you
Yeah,
go
so
for
what
the
I like.
if you go for the wood, like for this wood lumbercamp to cut and make the dock fast, just sending 4-5 vills just buy you time before your opponent just go aggressive on you. Because I think you will have the approach of the guy that want to go to the dock fast, and the other guy will probably try to just go aggressive on this spot and make a tower and kill your vill that are trapped. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. But to make the dock play happen, I think you should send 2 vills right away and make the the lumber camp like this. Like I would go right away with these two builds.
Actually,
Like,
Celts has to be strong. If you have time to like cut fast, dog block maybe. Like I like Celts in
Oh,
a way
yeah.
that you can maybe cut faster, but I think on Castle 8 this map is a bit of a clone map. I can see monks, I can see, and I think Celts without monks would maybe suffer a bit.
Yeah, so this is another map where you don't add TCs because there's way too much to fight for. And it's like a lot of monk rushes can work. Siege pushes can work, but usually siege push is countered by monks. And I think Meta Arm Tower in Feudal is also really good. So again, something like Roman Meta Arm Tower is a pretty good approach. Celts chopping out fast is pretty good. You chop out like this, by the way. And if they're not working, you just click here and then click there, and they always work. So this is how you chop out fast. For those who
Those
don't know.
are 50 wood trees.
Yeah,
if I'm
50
not wrong.
wood.
Okay.
So you can chop really fast that way. And then you send your first two vills, like you make two houses, you go to like sheep for a bit, and then you send right away like a couple of vills and then get them there ASAP. I think that's the best way to do it. Then you finish your build, send a few more, make a dock, and you're good. Yeah, and so there's two approaches, either dock or Meta Arm Tower, something like that. That's basically your two options. I recommend dock and then adapt, but if you want to get crazy, you can also go
I think you
for,
can dock
the
and
tower.
just wall from your lumber camp to the TC maybe.
Yeah, something like that, exactly.
And
And that's usually, I think that approach is usually better, honestly.
Yeah, and the wall should be enough to buy you time to defend, I guess.
Yeah, but then in Castle Age, it gets really crazy, as you said, Margu. Like monk rushes are crazy good. You can also chop it to the outside to get more space to boom. From my experience, this area is also really good in late game because there's a lot of golden stone. And yeah, I think definitely civs with good monks, good siege can be great. Civs like Mongols can also be pretty good if you want up fast, but there's not that much hunt. So yeah, I think-
Longswords rush over.
yeah, longsword rush, something like that. But yeah, I recommend also sending a Vil to lame if you want to as well. That's pretty good usually. If you're not going for the dock, then definitely lame, 100%.
Oh, Okay, I'm going to pick gods here.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's actually, I don't think that's the worst idea, by the way.
And you have the potential of Manatarm's Tower too. With cheaper
Yeah,
Manatarms.
if you go goth and you lame with one Vil, then you have longer lasting hunt, so your hunt is good. And then you go Meta Arm Tower, and then in late game, if you get to like Huskro spam, it's probably really good. Or like
Yeah.
Castle Age. I think that's actually not even a bad idea. But yeah, that map, two approaches, either water and adapt or middle. Golden Pits, we don't need to see.
no, I don't think so.
It's
Though-
worth it you guys practice it though, because you don't know how big the Woodlands is on this generation.
I think the
that-
most interesting one now is Spiral, maybe.
Yeah, let's go ahead. I played this one, so we'll check the Spiral and Seawall probably.
Just
Yeah.
can you give us the top save for Golden Pit? For you?
I have to see it real quick just to see if it's open or not.
Okay.
Yeah, so this version seems like pretty open. Let me check both maps. You will have to do some testing. If it's open, I probably recommend some like scout rush opening and then full wall. And if the guy goes for anything like men at arms, you can just go for range if you know he's gonna go for men at arms. If you open scouts and then he goes for men at arms, you get surprised. It's cool. Go like scout into skirm. And probably the best tips for that, something that has a good fast imp potential would or like something that can do some good stuff in early imp. Probably the best one. I don't know the exact civ, but that's like a good approach. Otherwise, something like Britons to full wall and play one range archers is probably good. The best approach is probably to do a 3TC mini boom and then start fighting for center in early imp. That's probably the best approach.
Yeah.
I think Mesociv is not bad as well. If you can wall one range into eagles and castles, pretty good. I think Malay can also be really good because that has really good early imp. So anything with the good early imp is usually correct. And something
Yeah.
like scout or archer opening is
I can
good.
see Malay
Don't
being
do
very
men
good
at
there.
arms. Yeah, Malay, yeah.
You can
could
even
be
scout
insane.
rush if you want as an opening into Archer or like whatever you want, and
Yeah.
it's pretty good, I think.
Yeah, so the more
Works.
open the map is, the better scout rushes in the early game and to like adapt. And the more closed it is, scouts is terrible. Go archer, or go range. So if it's open map, scouts, civ would be solid. If it's a closed version, archer. If you're not sure, go for archer civ or go for flexible civ. Something like Malay can be great. Britons is not bad, but hard to play. Ethiopians can be pretty good.
Okay.
A lot of emphasis
Well-
on like the early imp.
Malians with faster chemistry.
Yeah, Malians can be
Maybe.
pretty solid. You can
I-
also go Gebeto and early imp, which is solid too.
I recognize the Mihai playstyle there, full aggression. Like I was about, let's go 3TC, and Mihai's like, I can go abuse market, ballistic right away, and kill.
And siege. Don't forget ballistics plus siege.
Yes.
Always both, yeah, and then afford nothing. We'll see
And
about the
Tomb
rest.
Ring at the same time.
Zero
I'm gonna
farms.
I'm gonna check graveyards real quick. And again, you have to play a lot of practice games on these maps. Okay, graveyard is super open. I'll just save you guys the time on this one. The best civs are cavalry civs, for sure, but also don't be afraid to play open. So Magyars, Huns, Franks, something like that can be really solid. Also, maybe Gurjaras, haven't tested them, but maybe that civ can be good. And the secret to this map is like you can go scouts into skirms or scouts into whatever you want. Double scouts is fine, but you can slowly wall wall long term. But in the early game, don't try to wall right away. Just wall your woodline right away, one woodline or two, and then play defensive. Getting town watch is really good. That's completely fine. But my best advice is to go like really aggressive scout civ. So I would like something like Magyars or Huns, and then you can go for tower defense if you get pressured by anything spear archer related.
I saw a lot of people playing Aztec because of the relics. What do you think about Aztecs? I kind of like it if you are in a position where you can just have a lot of relics, but you are that far to the opponent that I think Knight should be better. Like Knight Light Cav should dominate, but it's always scary to have like an Aztec with 4 or 5 relics.
I promise you, Aztecs doesn't work on this map. I tested it for the Grand Melee when we had this map in the map pool, and Aztecs lost every single time in practice with me and Leary, and the reason is Light Cav will completely shit on them.
Yeah.
If you go Light Cav and Knights, Aztecs should get like 1 relic max. You should get all the other relics. Stuff like Lithuanians is pretty good on this map, it's not too bad. But stuff like Burgundians is probably not the best because you don't have bloodlines.
Yeah, I don't like
Even though
Burgundians.
Burgundians are great,
way too
it's
open.
an aggressive map. So it's an aggressive map first, a relic map second. So yeah, that's kind of the best way to think of it. Aztecs is not that good. Like if the other guy picks Aztecs, just literally pressure him with scouts. If he does meta arms, clear them with villas and scouts, cool. And then just go full scouts, get the castle, and you control the map with light cav. You cannot lose. Like it's impossible.
Okay.
Okay, give me 1 minute. I'll quickly be right back. But I'm gonna just go ahead and load Spiral. And yeah,
Yeah, same. I'll be right
what am I
back.
doing?
Give me a sec.
Okay, yeah, just give me 1 minute here. I doubt we don't need to see this is fine. I'll load Spiral. Be right back.
Ah. Oh là là, petite chaleur là.
Ah ouais, il fait combien Paris là?
Hmm. Bon, en vrai, ça va, il fait pas trop chaud encore. Bon, je regarde. Bon, tu peux avoir la fenêtre ouverte en après-midi, ce qui fait pas trop chaud.
Ouais, aujourd'hui ça va encore, je pense. Mais ça, on a la brise de l'océan.
Ah, quoique, chez moi là, il fait quand même 31. Hein.
Ah ouais, non, c'est plus qu'en Bretagne.
Ah ouais, bah là, oui. Ouais, c'est sûr qu'en Bretagne, quand il fait les étés un peu caniculaires comme ça, c'est même plus des
Ouais,
étés caniculaires, c'est des étés normaux, quoi.
Ouais, c'est vrai.
Bientôt, les huîtres, elles vont sécher, là, cette vitesse.
Ah, non, quand il fait trop chaud, ouais, t'as des des bactéries dans l'océan qui peuvent être dangereuses des fois. Donc,
Dangereuse pour les huîtres ou pour les humains?
voilà, pour les huîtres. Pour les fruits de mer en général. Mais bon, la température de l'eau, elle est en principe basse.
Bientôt, il va falloir déplacer la production en
En
Scandinavie. Hein.
Irlande. Ah oui, c'est ça.
Oui, ou en Irlande. On des huîtres en Irlande, du coup?
Ah ouais, c'est. Il y
Eh
a toutes
ben.
les entreprises françaises d'ostréiculture qui achètent tous les parcs en Irlande, là. Je
Ah
pense que
ouais,
la moitié des parcs irlandais sont achetés par les Français.
ah, ils ont raison, hein.
Voilà.
Il fera trop chaud. J'ai
C'est
jamais
ça.
vu un élevage d'huîtres à Marrakech. Hein.
Ah bah. Ouais,
Ce serait marrant, remarque. Mais je suis pas sûr que ça marche.
voilà. Ou soit c'est vraiment dans le sud, en Australie et vers la Tasmanie, dans le sud de l'Australie, là, il fait un peu plus frais, mais sinon, c'est sûr que.
Moi j'aurais mon tournoi à 16h hein, contre Ligue. Ouf.
Ah ouais. Ouais, c'est bientôt. Je pense qu'il va nous montrer encore une ou deux maps là.
De toute façon, moi, The Wall, je la connais un peu. Enfin, c'est une map, tu vas voir, c'est une map un peu débile. Donc,
Ouais, on en a parlé tout à l'heure, Experience.
Viral, c'est intéressant, mais The Wall, c'est vraiment débile.
Mais ouais. The Wall, c'est quoi? Tu joues juste FC?
Ouais, c'est une map, tu verras la map.
Mais d'ailleurs, pourquoi les maps elles sont différentes sur le main event que le qualifier?
Qualifier, c'est celle de la Gold League saison 2, c'est la saison d'avant.
Ok.
Okay,
J'imagine que c'est pour
so
en termes de présent. Ah, sorry.
no, it's okay, no, all good. The reason why he likes to make it different maps is so the hype can be for the quote unquote main event, basically. That's the only reason.
Oh, you understood. But I remember HERA played the baguette tournament like on Vubli. I remember
Yes.
Sito being salty, like, what the fuck? They invite HERA, he's not speaking French and he's taking all my money.
I remember for that tournament they had to send the guy on call to check if I speak French or something like that. And like there's a
Excellent.
whole like quote unquote drama. It's like, oh, does he speak French? He doesn't actually speak French, but I do speak French. I have a big accent, so I don't like it.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, so yeah, this map I've played it a few times. I don't know if you guys have played it at all as well.
I played it a bit in RMS Cup, but just like one time, and I didn't add like a settled strategy on it.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think there's a set strategy on this map either right now. Basically, you have a lake here with 3 fish always, middle with a gold and 1 relic, and another lake here with 3. Sometimes the lakes are here, and sometimes they're further out. There's 2 variations of this map. So here, the lake is really close to the to the player. So in this variation, you probably should dock. But sometimes the lakes are in the middle. Okay, it's different. And there's also the sheep that you should get. Just go hit that right away, get the sheep, and that's cool. The strats on this map usually are probably something like take a little bit of the lake and then make some kind of aggression. I would like to go scout rush on this map. Scouts into adapt, because if you go scouts, you can snipe the other guy's fish, because there's some there's some areas where you can actually hit the fish with the scouts, and you get to force the guy to full wall. You get vision of the entire map. For me, scouts is the perfect opening on this map. I would go scouts with a dock and be happy most of the time, and then I would probably try to wall. I like civs that are not scouts into knights though. On this map, I think scouts and then playing something else is probably correct. Like either scouts into camels, something like Byzantines, Tatars really good at, like CA/camo, because you're really far from each other. And then in late game, you're playing for the extra golds on the sides. So probably something like Franks is pretty bad, because you're really one-dimensional scouts into knights. But something like Japanese, something like Tatars, something like Byzantines, those kind of civs that have the option to go CA, Vietnamese as well. Vietnamese can be insane right now as well. I think stuff like that is perfect for a map like this. You go scout opening, you go for the lake, and you control the whole map with your scouts. Men at Arms doesn't really work too well, because you can't go dock and Men at Arms. If the guy goes dock, he can't go Men at Arms. If he goes Men at Arms, he won't dock right away. And so he's just going to be forced to do damage. That's a bad opening. Archers and spear, like the archer range, the range opening, it's not bad, but if the guy goes scouts, you have to worry about him on the lake, and then you have to like full wall really fast, and that's really hard.
If the fish are
go ahead.
pretty far from us. Like if it's a generation where the berries are close to us and yes,
Mhm.
the lake further. Like should we just take the berries and ignore the water because it's too far, or we still go for
No,
dock?
I think you go for the water. Just be more careful if it's far.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, what people love doing is like they'll go civs like Byzantine and they'll try to dock your lake and go fire galley. I honestly don't even care about that. What I recommend is you go scouts, and if they dock your lake, you just fight them. Like you just defend with one dock, and that's cool. If they go two dock, then they're investing so much. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
will take the fish mostly by dark age.
It's
So I
only 3
recommend you just
fish.
kill their fish with the scout. Don't worry about if they try to snipe your fish. I think it's a bad strat, to be honest. So let them focus on controlling the map. Force them to wall. You wall slowly as well. Try to hit their lake, that kind of stuff, and then go to Castle Age. In Castle Age, you can do whatever you want. Just completely adapt. But yeah, that's kind of the strategy I recommend on this map.
I saw a couple of games with Vikings on this map, but feels like lacking fire ships in some situation. Can hurt.
Yeah, I think Vikings is the kind of stuff where I might want to actually dock them, because then you basically guarantee kill their fish. But it just shows that like the fish doesn't really matter. So you can go Vikings. If you lose the fish, you already took like 1 or 2 by feudal age, so it doesn't matter. And then the whole point of Vikings is that you can play for the middle, and you can get all the gold with longboats, for example. And then you can just control the map with like infantry. But that's honestly,
I don't
I
like
don't
it.
think that's that insane.
I
Yeah, I
think
don't think
the
it's that
map is way too open, and even in late game, like I can see a guy with Cavalier having a good opening on him because he can just raid everywhere. While the
Yeah.
Vikings and what does play the Vikings on feudal after his dog? Do he go scout rush? Then a Viking scout rush is not the best. Or if he goes archer, I can see the guy opening scout rush just having some skirm ready for him. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah,
gonna
I
be a
think
hard one with Viking.
I think Viking would probably die to some civs, and I think the longboat in the center is kind of like a fake strat. Like, yeah, it's cool you get the middle, but there's so much gold on the outside. There's also relics on the outside that's probably more important anyway. So that's not the best. But I think that Viking Scout Rush is pretty good though. I don't think that's bad because you get to farm fast and that's fine. Just that the late game is awkward. So yeah, best civs probably like Vietnamese on this new patch. Maybe something like the Tars, maybe even Byzantine. But yeah. It really just depends on how you want to play it. It's mainly camel, camel light cav, camel
CA.
knights, maybe
Yeah.
CA, and then you play towards late game where you have like CA Hussar or some sort of like Arbus Hussar or some sort of like castle forward, control the hill, push fast. Those approaches in late game can be good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, let's go. We have a couple minutes. Let's go ahead and take a look at the last map here, Z-Wall. The other maps,
Yes.
I'm sure you guys can do it yourselves. Socotra, Land Madness, Migration, these are all known maps. You can figure that out. Last one is Z-Wall.
I hate the wall. Like it's so for me it's so a dumb map.
Wait, explain it to me because I actually don't know it. How does
Like
it work?
it's just a neutral wall. So
Okay.
if an enemy attack it, like you cannot repair it, you cannot. And if an enemy attack it, you don't have the
The sound.
horn. Yeah.
Okay, well.
But you can repair it.
You can repair it. Okay.
Yeah, I tried. You can attack with your scout and repair with your wheel.
Yeah, you can't hit with the Vil, so that means that you can repair it, yeah. Okay, I mean, honestly, if you can't hit with Vil, that means tower rushing never works. That means that the only good strategy on this map is booming while taking the 3 relics you have.
I
That's
saw
it.
I saw some trying to go like Turks, like Janissaries, just they drop castle the wall, then they are full wall thanks to the neutral wall, and they
Mhm.
just go Janissaries from this point and take the relics from the opponent. I think it was good, but I don't know
I think
if
that's
it's
not
not.
bad, actually.
Yeah, it has to be
Yeah.
pretty good. Like especially if I play like versus I don't know versus an arena specialist, for example. Like I kind of
Yeah.
want I think to do this type of strat that makes sure I have a decent chance versus them.
Yeah, because then if you just try to boom, you might die. Yeah, that's true. I think booming is probably like it might be a good strat, but it's probably the hardest strat to do.
Or maybe it's
Um,
like 3TC boom into like fast chemistry, like on cannoneer BBC, let's say, and you can try to push fast,
I
or
would
arbalest BBC.
Yeah, I would think that that's the best strat because if you think about arena, the 2 strats that usually work are either the forward castle or the like the boom plus relic control. But honestly, here forward castle might be better because if you forward castle, you break the wall. You could contest the relics, but not only that, you can't ever get counterattacked because you have like the castle and the walls, and you just push straight to your opponent's base.
Yes, I
So
think
I
it's
think that's
pretty
actually
good.
not bad. those are probably the two strategies. Either boom with prepare a defense with monks or something like that, or castle drop into push. That sounds good too.
But nowadays,
Um,
Turks with one range less can be countered by maybe some Mongol and some monks, so I don't know if it's still that strong. Like even
Yeah,
the unit from Portuguese are not that good versus building now. So I feel
versus
like
siege,
maybe the
yeah.
meta should go towards like more a boomy meta maybe.
Yeah.
I can see a defense being more easy nowadays. I don't know. I'm not sure though.
But to be honest, let's be honest, I think most of you guys in the Platinum League are going to be underdogs, and in the Gold League, it's going to be like 50-50 between you guys. So I would actually recommend you do the castle drop, but practice it. This map is practice. Like, one guy booms, the other guy pressures, try it out, see how it works, switch roles, try that, and then come to the best strat conclusion for you guys. That would be the best
Okay.
advice. But I think both approaches can work. Depends on what you like. One thing I noticed though is that like the back of the map has no minerals, so like you only have 1 gold, 1 stone, and you're guaranteed to not have anything else in the back. So maybe that's a good point for pushing. You know, if you push, you get a lot more gold and stone.
Yeah, that's why I think even if you don't go castle drop, like you want to play 3 TC on a timing and not a 4th one. If you play a 4th one, you
Oh,
can maybe
never fourth,
suffer. Yeah.
Yeah, 100% never fourth. It's definitely 3TC into imp into something fast. Like, and no cavalry, guys. Cavalry on this map sucks. Just
Yeah.
Halb, Monk, Siege, maybe Skirm, something like that. Like, mainly just trash units and Siege Monk is the play.
Okay.
All right, cool. So I hope you guys wrote a good amount of that down. If not, I hope someone was recording to be able to. Margo has the stream to
Yes.
check back what I said. Make sure, the last advice I'll give, make sure that you take some of the stuff I said and also practice it. So I give you a few options with civs, a few options of strategies. Try it out, see what works for you guys. Everyone here has a different style. And so see what works for you and go for that. But whatever approach you go for, just stick with that. If you practice it, do it in the tournament. Don't practice it and then in the tournament you do something else because you panic or something like that. Prepare something, be confident, and then do exactly that in the tournament. That's like the best advice I can give.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you, yeah.
Thanks a
Yeah,
lot.
no problem. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you
then-
guys and best of luck.
Thanks.
Okay, see you guys at the
Thank you.
tournament. See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot.
See ya.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bon tournoi, Margot.
Merci. Ah, et bah c'était bien sympa au final tout ça. C'était bien cool. En plus, comme ça, tout le monde a pu en profiter parce qu'en vrai, ça faisait un petit coaching sur les maps de la TTL, mais aussi un peu en général. Donc là, on va jouer un tournoi. Alors, attendez que je vois dans le. Ici, c'est quoi le nom?